Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Comic Sand Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Jumps. This week we are going over issue number 2 of the ongoing Venom series. The issue starts with Dylan Brock having dreams about the events that happened at the end of the last issue, when the hotel that Eddie was staying at was swarmed by agents of some kind. He was actually killed in an explosion. You and I know that he was actually sent forward through time, but in terms of what Dylan witnessed, his father has just died, as well as Venom getting in a skirmish with the soldiers that came after them. When Dylan wakes up, we actually see that him, Sleeper, and the Venom symbiote are stowed away on a train. Dylan is having trouble coping with the death of his father Eddie and says that the Venom symbiote is somewhat to blame for bonding with Dylan instead of helping Eddie. Once the train comes to a stop, the three of them disembark and the Venom symbiote takes on the form of something we've seen him take on the form of in the past, is actually a pretty cool looking pit bull. The three of them hitchhike while Dylan listens to the voicemail that Eddie left him just before his death in the last issue, and it instructs him to go to Max's diner and ask for a person named Archer Lyle. Once they get to Max's diner, Dylan asks for Archer Lyle, and the waitress doesn't seem to know who that is. While he waits, he sees Senator Crane talking on the television. Now, Senator Crane has most recently been seen in the pages of Extreme Carnage, where he was actually the most recent host of the Carnage symbiote. He's not currently the Carnage symbiote. They separated at the end of that limited series. He has an anti-symbiote agenda backing his campaign. So it's likely that seeing him in this issue is foreshadowing of him being a bigger antagonist in the future. Dylan waits around for what he decides is long enough and decides to take off with the symbiotes. In the next scene, we see that Venom has been being surveilled by Carlton Drake. Carlton Drake is actually the bad guy from the first Venom movie starring Tom Hardy. He's the leader of the Life Foundation, and they've been historically an enemy of the symbiote characters in the Marvel Comics. We see an uneasy alliance forming between Carlton Drake and Senator Crane. We're now back with Dylan and the symbiotes, and while they're walking down the sidewalk, we see that they're being watched by agents. It's unclear if these agents are from the same organization as the ones from the previous issue, but it's likely. Sleeper takes notice and tells Dylan he should cut through an alleyway and see if they can escape on the other side. Once they go into the alley, the agents approach and try to smoke them out. This is when the party gets started. Dylan and the symbiote bond once again to become Venom and immediately start kicking agent butt. Unfortunately, this time the agents come prepared with anti-symbiote gear, including sonic mines. And for those of you who are unaware, Venom has two major weaknesses. One is sonics and one is fire. So we see the tables start to turn right here. Luckily, they've got Sleeper to back them up and offer some defense from the rooftops. This is the first time we see Sleeper kind of go into action in this series. In addition to Sleeper joining the fight, we also see a woman come to the aid of Venom, actually revealing herself to be Archer Lyle. That's when the issue ends. I'm gonna be honest, I think that the ending was a little bit anticlimactic. This is the first introduction of Archer Lyle. They're not an established character in the comics, and so I think maybe it was supposed to be a dramatic introduction of Archer, but I'd say overall the issue was pretty good. It was more Dylan-centric, other than the flash of Eddie we saw in the beginning in Dylan's dreams. He was absent from the comic, so I'm curious as to what's going on with Eddie at this point in time. Maybe we'll see in the next issue. With the introduction of Archer being as dramatic as it was, I really do hope that this leads into something exciting in the next issue in terms of this storyline. Seeing as how this is the start of a new series, it's expected that there might be some slow issues. Let me know what you thought of this issue, if you're excited to see what's coming up next. With the introduction of Senator Crane into this series, it's possible that we'll see Carnage return in the near future. That's all I've got for you today. Again, thanks for watching and keep on keeping on.